Welcome, welcome, and welcome. This is Attorney Don Dennis. I am so glad that you are joining me on this evening. I want to give a big shout out and welcome to everyone that is here watching. We're going to have a great conversation and go over a few lessons that will be quite helpful to everyone. I want to thank Corey for being here. He's saying that this should be interesting, and that is the goal, to make this interesting. And obviously, I want to acknowledge everyone that's watching this, because without you, I would not have the motivation to keep going. So I definitely appreciate you for being here. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out with the analytics and continues to push out the message of this channel, which is to help others understand all the business consequences of the transactions that they make, and also help make wiser decisions. I am Attorney Don Dennis, a practicing attorney. This is not a Halloween costume that I have on in front of you, but this is my actual work uniform. You know, the title of this video is Use Your Mind. And to further elaborate on that, when I say use your mind, I'm saying use your mind to be detail oriented. Thank you, Nick C. Nick C is saying that he's glad to be able to catch us live, and we're glad to have you here watching as well. And as you can see, and as we all know, Kanye West and the other rapper we're going to talk about, Nuke Bizzle, are very extremely creative, highly talented, gifted people. And the last word of what I just said needs to resonate. They're people. So just like everyone else, they have to deal with what comes on in life and what they experience. And I was thinking about an obstacle course. In the fall of last year, the family and I went out to Not Scary Farm, where they had a obstacle course where you're running all around the park, and they have people dressed up as ghosts and goblins and goons and look like they're bleeding actors, and they're chasing you, and you're trying to navigate, you're trying to make your way through and be safe. And people are screaming and they're hollering and they're crying, and then they're laughing and they're smiling afterwards. And they're smiling afterwards because they know it's all make believe. They know it's all a game and it's all for fun. And oftentimes in life, we go through obstacle courses and we go through problems. So we all, in the media, when you have public persons, public celebrities and things of that nature, they unfortunately have to go through their life and their obstacle courses in front of everyone, with an audience focused watching in on them, watching in on stories on the news. And we see on the news issues with Kanye West that he has to go through with his family, in business lawsuits, unexpected health issues. However, he still thrives through them. And occasionally we see him smile. But the key word is he persists and he moves forward. So why is this important? It's important because he shows as a model, you have to continue to thrive and make it a point to stay focused on the details, focused on your business. So we all know that he's had situations and problems. However, what is important to note is that in 2020, he signed a 10-year deal with Gap. So what does that mean? You just walk into Gap and sign a 10-year deal? No, not at all. It takes time. It takes putting a team together. It takes focus to be able to do these things. In addition, just on June 29th of this year, he filed for a trademark registration for Yeezy Supply. Now, what is this? This is going to be for his store, for clothing that he plans to sell, footwear and other ski apparel he plans to sell with that trademark. Why is that important? He's planning something in the future. He's thinking in advance now of the details of the fact that he wants to register a trademark to continue to push his business forward. This is a valuable lesson that we need to take on. You know, James Farrell said, if you let conditions stop you from working, they will always stop you. Kanye West is the embodiment of not letting things that happen stop you from working and moving forward, continuing to be driven. Anyone can make excuses. Anyone can say, hey, I'm ill. Hey, I'm sick. Hey, I feel well. Hey, this happened to me. That happened to me. I've been sued. I'm having this problem. Or instead of focusing on that, you can focus on your business, focus on your details, focus on continuing to move forward. As a matter of fact, let me drop this link in the chat for anyone that would like to come up and have any comments. You're always welcome because we love the feedback. So yes, as I was saying, Kanye continues to work, continues to move forward, and is not known for making excuses as to why things don't happen. Another example of this would be Ice Cube. He continues to work and move forward and doesn't make excuses, whether he needs to put out more movies, his Big Three basketball league, music, and all assortments of other type of business ideas. This shows in our community that we can all overcome and continue to move forward. Now, we talked about Kanye filing for his trademark registration. What is a trademark? A trademark is when you get a registration with the United States Patent and Trademark Office to put the world on notice, to let everyone know that, hey, this business name, this logo, this symbol that I do business with, that I sell products under, that I provide services under, this name belongs to me, belongs to my company. And if you use it without my permission, there are going to be some statutory penalties. I can sue you for a certain amount of money, and I can prove it and be awarded that money. In addition, if you want to use that name as I build it up, as I give it a claim and other fame, then we can work out a licensing deal. In addition, you can use your logo, use your trademark to put together other contracts, other deals. And it's very important that you assemble the right team, the right group of people around you that are like-minded, that are business-oriented. And if you need an attorney to help you with this, make sure you consult with my office. The link is below in the description, and you can always book an appointment. At the end of the day, when I think of Kanye, I think of someone that's playing the game of Uno, and he keeps winning and yelling out Uno. And lo and behold, people are thinking that they got him down, thinking that they made him have to draw 4, thinking that they made him have to draw 2, skip him, reverse, miss all his turns. But at the end of the day, he keeps yelling out Uno and moving forward. Now, we're going to talk about Nuke Bizzle. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a very talented rapper. He is a rapper that came up with a catchy song called EDD. And the issue is this. Imagine driving around near the police station in your car, and you have an expired license plate tag. And you're driving around the police, and you keep taunting them, wondering if they're going to see your car. You're inviting them to pull you over because they look for people that obviously, whether you have a broken tail light or a busted window or expired registration, but especially they pay attention to Black men, and you're drawing unnecessary attention. So if you do get pulled over, it's kind of like you're pulled over, and what do you think would happen if the police pulled you over with expired registration, and in plain sight you have a gun on your seat with no permit, or you have an open alcohol bottle? What do you expect to happen? How do you expect for this to turn out? Well, This is kind of what happened to Nuke Bizzle, better known as Fontrell Antonio Baines, who was a rapper that came out to Los Angeles, decided to hang out in Hollywood from Memphis, Tennessee. And this was around the time where a lot of people were making a lot of money and thought that they had hit the easy lotto with the EDD plus the pandemic bonus. So if you don't know, during the pandemic, while Trump was in office, President Trump was in office, he put out a bonus. So if you're already getting a certain amount of payments with the EDD, automatically you got a couple $100 more or even a higher level based on what your income was because of the coronavirus, because of COVID-19. And what we saw, unfortunately, a lot of people took that money and they balled out. They had a great time. We saw pictures of people going on vacation, people buying things for their home, people buying new clothes and all kinds of things, which you can use the money however you choose to use it. However, it seems like if you have an opportunity, it makes better sense to use it to start a business, to save, to invest. Because as we know now, that pandemic bonus is no longer here. Well, what Nuke Bizzle did is he made a rap song talking about not only was he taking advantage of this EDD bonus and the money, but he had a bunch of fake IDs. I think he had almost 92 to be exact. And yeah, Corey T brought up Baby Blue from Pretty Ricky, also got in trouble with this. Yeah, I saw an interview where he was talking about that, and unfortunately, I believe he had to plead guilty as well with respect to the PPP loan. And the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, was another program that came out during the pandemic, and a lot of people, misused the funds. And so therefore now the Department of Justice and other governmental agencies are cracking down on them, pressing charges, and people are having to go to jail over something they shouldn't have had to go to because the money was there to help out and even the loans were forgiven. So they took advantage and they didn't properly use the program. Nevertheless, back to Nuke Bizzle, what he did was he made a song and he showed himself in the song with the EDD envelopes that you get. He talked about certifying in order to get more money throughout it. And he talked about the fact that he was open to working with other people that wanted to do some fraudulent activity with respect to getting that money that they were not entitled to get. Unfortunately, recently he pled guilty to 1 count of mail fraud, 1 count of unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition by a convicted felon, meaning he had already been convicted for other crimes. In addition, like I said, he made the song and a music video talking about defrauding the government. In the song, he's showing envelopes. He's showing his laptop. He's waving around and showing money. He even thanked President Trump in the song for the pandemic boost. So he's admitted to using the stolen identities to apply for these benefits. And he got away with about $1.5 million. But the sad part about all of this is that he's a young, talented man that is now facing decades in jail. I'm sorry, decades in prison. So when you think back over it, let's say you do get $1 million or more than $1 million or however many million you get to use and have fun for a couple years. Is that worth you losing decades of your life in prison? Is it worth losing your freedom, your mobility, your time to interact with family and do things that you like to do, your time to eat what you want to eat, get up when you want to get up, go where you want to go? Is it worth it just over $1 million? Or what price is that worth to you? Like I said, he's a very cool rapper, talented, and you can see he's been blessed with a lot of abilities. But it's kind of like having the right batteries, but putting them in the wrong way. If you have a TV remote control, typically you use AAA batteries, but you have to put them in the right way. Otherwise, they do not work. In addition, I talked about this a little bit in the Nipsey Hussle video. The fact that when there's a criminal trial, the prosecution, the government has to prove that you're guilty of the crimes that they're charging you with beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, what exactly is their burden, or how hard is it for them to prove that when they can just use a video that you produced yourself where you're talking about it and use that to help track you down and trace all the things to confirm in their mind what exactly they think you've done wrong? Yeah, Corey T said he's never heard of him, but that is bold. It's extremely bold. And go ahead and search on YouTube, Nuke Bizzle EDD, and it just will blow your mind as to what you're seeing. But if the government doesn't have to do the work and you do the work for them to implicate yourself, to incriminate yourself, then what possible defense can an attorney have for you? What can you have an attorney say on your behalf to try to lessen your sentence or to try to defend your activity? It's great to consult an attorney. And I encourage each of you that have an issue, have a business question, or want to consider legal consequences of what you're doing to consult with my office, and hit the description button within the link under the video. However, if you've already signed certain agreements, if you've already said certain things or put yourself in a position, a lot of times you put your attorney in a box as to how exactly they can help you. So you want to think about all of your actions very carefully. And if you're not sure, before you do it, take the time to get some advice. Take the time to save yourself and not subject yourself to things that could take eternity to get out of, to things that could put you in jail, to put you on the radar of the government when you don't have to be. You don't want to misuse opportunities, and you want to take advantage of all the programs that the government makes available or other organizations make available, but you don't want to misuse them, and you don't want to violate the law to lose your liberty in society and lose your freedom. If this is the first time that you've come onto the channel and watched the video, don't let it be the last time. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button and even the notification bell so you know when we're going live and you know what is going to occur. Now, I have a question here. Corey says, does freedom of speech within the confines of artistic expression help him? Well, freedom of speech is, yes, you do have the First Amendment right to freedom of speech, and you do have the right to talk about whatever you want to talk about. But the problem is when you're talking, unfortunately now, there's a microscope. And as we can see, there are some racial disparities within the justice system. There's countless studies that show it. There's countless interviews and other things that we've seen in the media that show there's an overwhelming fixation on Black men and on finding them fault, finding them guilty, finding out what they're doing, whether they're doing it right or wrong. And therefore, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger could be in a film, Commando or Terminator, killing a bunch of people, and no one will automatically think in real life he runs around with all those guns, or Rambo runs around with all those guns, or John Q runs around with all those guns and shoots people. What we're seeing now in media is that a fixation of, can we hold rappers accountable for their lyrics? And in particular, Black rappers accountable for that. So yes, you do have the right to freedom, but if we're seeing a shift and we're seeing people trying to use those lyrics, people trying to use that against you, you don't want to incriminate yourself. Just like Nick C says, you have the right, you do have the right to tell on yourself, but do you want to exercise that right? Nick C, Corey T says, that's crazy. It would seem like common sense. Yes, it would seem like common sense not to tell on yourself. But sometimes, as we know, people get caught up. People get excited. They think, maybe they're untouchable. Maybe nothing could happen. However, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. People are paying close attention to what is going on. They're focusing on rappers. They're focusing on lyrics. A lot of rappers have had situations. I remember years ago, they were trying to come after Rick Ross or something for some of his lyrics. And I believe in the court paperwork, he stated, no, these are just lyrics. This is not who I really am. I really am not selling drugs. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So, we just have to be cognizant because things change. In addition, Showtime says John Wick. Exactly. Are we really to believe that they're coming after people of other races in that same format? No. If you do a quick search of YouTube, for example, and you search PPP fraud for the Paycheck Protection Program fraud during COVID-19 or EDD fraud, a lot of the search results are showing Black people. Now, that's an interesting point because Black people are only 10% of the population, maybe 13 of the entire US population. So are we to believe that they're the majority of the people that took out fraudulent loans or misused the funds? Or is it believable that prosecutorial discretion, people that they choose to go after, are overwhelmingly seeming to be Black people? What are the statistics? What's going on here? There's that term prosecutorial discretion. For example, if the police pull you over, they have the option of giving you a ticket or giving you a warning. Sometimes they choose to do one thing and sometimes they choose to do another. However, that's all within their discretion as to who the government wants to prosecute. And if we know that, if we know there's less of a chance, if you make a mistake, you're going to get a warning, that just tells you in advance, you have to be extra careful and take your time and make sure that you follow the laws. Make sure that if we're not talking about criminal laws, before you engage in a deal, you evaluate the people you're going into business with, making sure that they're on the upright so that your business transactions don't fall apart and you don't waste time. We talked about all the amount of time and effort that Kanye West puts in to his deals, and you best believe he evaluates the people around him to make sure that they can help him follow deals through from start to finish and not disrupt those deals. So I encourage you to think carefully. And that's why the title of this message is to use your mind, use your creative talent, but don't just get caught up in the glamour and the glitz without focusing in on the details, focusing in on your paperwork, focusing in on the people that are on your team, and taking your time to make a truly intelligent decision so you don't wind up in jail, unfortunately, like Nuke Bizzle, but you remain free and you navigate all the obstacles the way that we've seen Kanye do so. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank you for your attention. I most appreciate it. Please share this message with others. Share this video. Tell them what you've learned. Tell them about the exciting time you're having here. Oh, what's EDD? The Employment Development Department is EDD. EDD is where you go get unemployment benefits. So if you're without a job and you're trying to find a job, you can go to EDD, Employment Development Department. That's what it's called in California. You fill out your paperwork, and then within a certain period of time, you will start getting checks. And if you watch the video, he's going to show pictures of the checks. He's going to show pictures of the envelope. He's going to talk about certification. And certification is basically telling the department, look, every week or 2 weeks or whenever you have to turn in the paperwork, I am actively looking for a job. And as long as you certify and you sign off under penalty of law, then you can continue getting the money for a certain period of time. So I want to thank everyone for being here again, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great day.